Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the Pro Fan Talk. My name is Marcus Thomas, and so what's going on? We are going to see what this NFL free agency is going to continue to do. It has been a wild week. Wild week. It has been. Take these off here. I thought it got crazy last week with Matt Ryan and all of that kind of stuff. Now it's even crazier because of the Tyreek Hill trade. Didn't see that coming. How you get rid of the number one weapon in the NFL. I know it was a business thing, but man, that was huge. Thought that Deshaun, I didn't think anything would be bigger than the Deshaun Watson situation. But it has been crazy. Let's see what's going on. What's going on, people? David is in the chat. Pete is in the chat. Good evening, Peter. You agree with the poll. My Pops is in the chats. What's going on, Pops? It has been a lot. Is everything sound okay? Is my audio good? If the audio's good, somebody put a thumbs up or a number one in the chat. Let me know. So, but in anyways, what's up, Vince? Vince is a regular. I got to get Vince on the show one of these days. Vince is one of the fans. Vince is in a weird situation because he's an Eagles fan, and I believe his girlfriend is a Giants fan. So that's always fun. So, what's up, Derry? Players have no choice. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. In this situation, I believe it was a timing issue. I believe the Tyreek Hill trade had everything to do with Devontae Adams signing with the Raiders. When he signed with the Raiders, the market value for Tyreek Hill went up. And I know the Chiefs had offered him a really nice contract. He still would have been the highest paid receiver. So essentially, if they would have made that deal 3 weeks earlier, he probably would have signed the deal, and he probably would still be with the Chiefs. But timing is everything. Devontae Adams signed, got his money, and his market value went up because you can argue with it, but he is the number one receiver in the NFL, period. You can try to argue with it, but in my mind, he's the number one weapon, period. And and there's still things going on. You got the Tyreek Hill. Then today, the Chiefs, right before breaking news, but right before I started the show, Marquez Valdez-Scantling signed with the Chiefs. So now they got another, not as fast, but very fast and long wide receiver. You got somebody with a long stride. He's probably 6'1", 6'2". Got that turnover where he can pull away from DBs and go up over them. He signed with KC, so they're filling up the gaps. There was rumors that DK Metcalf might end up in KC, but obviously that's not going to happen now. And now, what happens to Aaron Rodgers? He done lost his top two receivers. Like, bam, bam, gone. So it'll be interesting. Jerry says players have no choice but to get that big payday for Father Time takes it away. Father Time is undefeated. I agree. But listen, I want to get this started real quick. As soon as this deal happened, I got on the phone and called my boy Jason Dunn. Jason Dunn's been on the show before. I played with Jason at Eastern Kentucky. He played here in Philadelphia, played for the Eagles for 4 years, and then got 8 good years with the Kansas City Chiefs. So he's really tied in with the Kansas City Chiefs. So I gave him a call immediately, bro, we got to hook up, talk about this on camera. Let me know what your thoughts are. So me and Jason connected last night. We talked for about 20 minutes. And I want to play that conversation for you, man, because we had a good convo. And he's somebody I'm going to keep connecting with as time goes on, man, because he's still connected. He's a friend and he's a good guy to talk to. So I want you guys to check out this conversation between me and Jason Dunn about Tyreek Hill. Check it out. All right, what's up, people? We're back at Pro Fan Talking. I got my buddy. Anytime I wear my colors, you know I'm representing. That means I got my boy Jason Dunn. Jason Dunn is tied in with KC. And with all this information that just blew the lid off the league with the Tyreek Hill trade, man, I wanted to call Jason, get him on right away. Bro, what do you think about all this stuff, man? This is absolutely nuts.
Man, I tell you what, it's just crazy to me. You wake up every single day. You're looking for different things. Free agency and whatnot's going to work. And we've been around enough to know in the league things change just like that. That's exactly how it happened in Kansas City with Tyreek, being traded. So my thoughts on it was, here you got probably one of the most dynamic receivers in the history of the game.
In the history, the number one weapon in the league right now,
without a doubt. Yeah. It's, to me, his skill set, what he's able to do, every time he catches the ball in his hands, I don't care if he's catching or you hand it off to him, he has a chance and opportunity to hit his head on the goalpost.
Take it to the house.
Yes. And so when I watched that come through Twitter and all of these, and everybody's, kind of hit me up, I was like, man, what's going on? And so I've always said this, I do with my podcast. I said there's three guys that you can't let walk out of the building, okay, in Kansas City. One is Patrick Mahomes, two is Travis Kelce, and number three is Tyreek Hill.
Yep.
I mean, that's the way I look at it.
That is your triumvirate right there. I agree with you 100%.
Right.
He's like, what do you – let me ask this question first.
Okay.
In your opinion, do you think there was any animosity or anything like that behind the scenes, or was this just business?
I think it's more so business. Okay. I don't think it's any animosity whatsoever. When it boils down to it, and I look at just the timing of everything, right? So the Devontae Adams deal goes down.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm right there with you.
And so they wait. They've been trying to get this thing done, during the season. It was like, hey, can you restructure? What do you think about doing? And Tyreek was like, listen, you know what? I'm not going to touch any of that right now. I'm going to wait till all season, see how everything goes. And so you can tell that whatever negotiations, they weren't able to find a number, whatever you couldn't do. But as soon as Devontae Adams goes to the Raiders, right?
That market value goes.
That market value goes up, and he set the market. And so the Chiefs had a chance and an opportunity to set the market with Tyreek. They did, and it just didn't happen for whatever reason. And maybe after they see, and I'll even say this, probably prior to that, Christian Kirk getting his deal.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And so people was like, wait a minute, hold on, Christian Kirk just got this money. Is he a number one, wide receiver in the league? Is he a top tier? And they throwing money to him this way. And so when they're thinking, look, if he's worth this type of money, we had to be worth this amount.
Exactly.
And so I think it was just the time and everything. Once Devontae Adams went over to the Raiders, then Tyreek was like, listen, this is what we want. This is what we're looking for. We're looking to be the highest paid wide receiver in the game. And rightly so. You look at my numbers, and it bears out. And the reality is he's a young guy. That's the thing about it. He's only 28 years old, so he's not like his skill set is going to wane or anytime soon. And hey, maybe at the end of it, no.
Yeah, he's at the backside of his prime, but still in his prime.
He's still in his prime, and I look at that like this. I said, can you imagine Jerry Rice going somewhere in his prime with San Francisco? Right? I mean, just being traded. When I heard D-Hop going somewhere else, that was something major.
Yeah.
We even had Tony going other places, but when he went to Atlanta, but he'd already played 11 years in Kansas City.
Right.
So to me, man, it was just a monumental move on their part, how this happened. Now, the compensation, of course, the package, it makes the blow a little bit more softer, right?
Yeah, they got a lot. They got a lot, but it don't mean you're gonna land one.
No, it doesn't. And the thing is that was one of my my arguments is, well, this is a guy that we know is proven.
Right.
We know what he can do. And so what we also know what he can do is we know he can do things other people in the league just can't do.
Nobody.
I mean, that's the reality of it. So you hope you hit in the draft, maybe in free agency. You're looking at kind of, I ain't gonna disrespect anybody by saying the bottom of the barrel, but some of the picks that you could have gotten in free agency, is gone. We end up signing Juju, which to me was more, delectable as far as, him coming on the Chiefs before I thought we knew Tyreek was leaving. Right. And so that kind of makes the deal a little bit more sweeter because now Juju comes in for the 1-year deal for $10 million. If he pans out, maybe you sign him to a long-term deal and he won't break the bank by doing it. Right. But just going back to Tyreek Hill, to me, it would have been hard for me as a guy, as a GM, to let a guy like that go. I would have talked to Patrick, try to restructure people's deals. Like, this is the guy we need here, right? Because look, this guy you have here always gives you a chance and opportunity offensively to do things. I said he changed defenses, right? I mean, really, the too high safety, the depth that they play against this guy,
right?
I mean,
he's this era's, in my opinion, he is this era's version of Deion Sanders, just on the offense. When you played Deion back in the day, you had to adjust to wherever he was on the field. Don't throw in that direction because it's bad for business. Right. Every time Tyreek Hill, to your point, every time Tyreek Hill touches the ball, he is a threat to go to the house. Period.
Yes.
Period.
Yes, absolutely. No doubt about it.
And I don't understand. Well, it's business. But to your point, I think that they could have circumvented this if they could have got this deal done 2 weeks earlier.
Absolutely.
100%. But like we said, that Davante Adams set the market value way up here because they offered him what, $30 million before?
Tyreek?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. From my reports, I think there was close to that $30 million, and it just
if they would, I guess the question would be if they would have offered that 2 or 3 weeks earlier, most likely he probably would have taken the deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it is what it is. Now what happens with who was the guy that they drafted? Because remember, Tyreek was possibly going to be suspended, so they drafted a kid. Who was the kid that they drafted?
The guy they have is McCole Hardman,
who
was actually running back, but he has he's fast. He has a little bit of that skill set. They utilize him a lot with the motion, kind of giving the handoffs, trying to get on the edge a little bit. And he can push downfield. Last year, he made a big step in improving, I guess, catching the football with deep routes.
Right. Okay.
But he will feel some of that role that Tyreek had in the offense, but it's just still not Tyreek.
Nah, you gonna learn today whether he can play.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The thing is, it's good enough. It's good for him because he's going to get more opportunities to show what he can do. Right.
Yeah.
And then of course we have Josh Gordon, who we got early on in the season, who hadn't played in 2 years, but you have now the full offseason with this guy, who is still 30 years old. He's still fairly young, and you'll just have to do some things differently offensively. And we know Andy. We know Andy likes throwing the football, right? Yeah. We know that's his stick. He loves doing that. He's going to make sure he's pushing the ball down the field. And so maybe with Tyreek not necessarily being on the team anymore, this will help promote the running game a little bit. Maybe now we're getting more carries. But I tell you what, but what it will do is it may be a little bit tough for Travis Kelce. He's still going to get doubled, right? But Travis he's still going to eat. He's still going to be productive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's still going to be a great guy. Yeah, that's not going to change. But it helps to have that guy. It helps to have that guy that just double, triple team. And also, too, we were just talking, Patrick Mahomes saying, hey, Tyreek's down there somewhere, right? I mean, I don't know how many balls he threw up like, hey.
Let me find him.
I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna let this go.
I'm
Right?
gonna throw it up, and he gonna run and go get it.
He's gonna run and go get it. He's
Can't
turning
nobody catch him. Yeah.
DBs, everybody around the secondary. I mean, it's
now with that situation going, what's gonna happen with Matthew? With Tehran?
See that's a good question, because now I think what you do is you save. I think they said about 29 in the cap. Maybe Honey Badger gets signed again, right? Maybe they can try to work something out, because right now, I guess from what I'm understanding, he's not really getting that many bites and looks as far as like where he's at, as a safety in the league,
Right.
what he wants to be paid, and teams are not really gravitating toward that. So
Man,
I don't know if it's something that they're trying to do with him. So
I wish we could try to get him here in Philly. I wish we could, but I think Philadelphia is kind of cash strapped right now. Because you saw what we just did with Fletcher Cox. I don't think really shouldn't have done that, but they did it. I don't mind Fletcher Cox being here. I do mind Fletcher Cox being here at $15 million. Or $14 million, whatever it is. But that was a little high, but it is what it is now. It's water under the bridge. We got to deal with it.
Right.
So let me ask you this. I was looking at one of your past podcasts, and you were telling the story of when they lowballed you for a new contract, right? Yep. So that had me thinking, because, dude, Facebook's been blowing up all day.
Yeah.
Right? And, of course, the first thing everybody says is, why did he have to leave? He was greedy. Why couldn't Patrick Mahomes redo his contract? And I'm like, people throw that out so easily. Like, if someone came to your job and asked you to take a pay cut so they could hire the sales guy so they could help the company's sales, and even if they do help the sales, you may or may not get a bonus for it.
Yeah, right.
So and there's some people are like, well, if you got millions of dollars, and I'm like, and I would always try to tell people, it's like, don't apply this lifestyle to your 9 to 5. You got to scale it up, because if you made that type of money, you're not driving a Honda Civic. You're gonna go with the Maybach. So when you make millions of dollars, you have $1 million requests.
Yes.
So you got to scale everything up. And how do you see that when people are, especially fans, are so easy? Well, why didn't you give up some of your money so we can keep them like Tom Brady does? Tom Brady is the wrong example. He got his wife could go work for a weekend and make his whole salary. Right. So it's a whole different scenario.
I addressed this. Just saying that, sometimes it's dismissive because, for one, NFL contracts are not guaranteed, for one, right? And they always want you to, hey, why don't you do something to help, as opposed to, well, where's your loyalty to me? The other side, like, what do I see saying, hey, if you do this, we're going to take care of you on this end, and it's never so. It's never so, and it's one of those things. It's just hard to kind of quantify where you're going to be in a year or two, right? I mean, we see guys, and I've said this. Here's the bad thing about the NFL is we know in our job, and you can almost liken it to how it is in the real world. When you make a lot of money, you become expendable.
Yeah.
Right? And so we know in this game, because they're always looking for the younger, faster player for less, cheaper, that they can get, that can do maybe somewhat what you can do and live with it. I don't feel like a player should be like, hey, look, I'm just going to, just restructure my contract to try to get a guy here for your benefit. But what about mine? I have a family I had to feed. I'm trying to at least, have generational wealth.
Right.
I'm trying to do things with my money. And if it's just business, we're talking business wise, then how is it that the way that you think about me, okay, I shouldn't be thinking about you the same way, right?
Correct.
I'm
Correct. That's fair play. If it's just business is business and friends are friends. Don't confuse them two.
Exactly.
So you can't. And to your point, we'll bend over backwards as far as loyalty goes, but we can get cut in a hot second.
Absolutely.
Well, we got to cut you and then re-sign you at 75% of your previous contract. So stuff like that happens all the time. But the first thing people want to say is, well, why couldn't you do this for the betterment of the team? and it doesn't always work both ways. And it's like that's why they can do that. Tom Brady can say, "I'll take a pay cut so I can get Leonard Fournette to come back." But guess what? There was somebody else trying to get on that team last year, and guess what? It didn't work out. Y'all didn't make it to the Super Bowl,
Right.
so it was a wasted trip. Or what happens? God forbid, Tyreek's making all of that money. He goes to Miami, and he gets hurt in week 3.
Right.
So what does that mean? Everything is a gamble. Nothing is guaranteed.
Yeah, nothing's guaranteed.
Nothing's guaranteed. We are always one play away from the end of our careers.
Yeah, and
never changes.
And you make a great point. Like, Tom Brady is a terrible example because Boucher can make plenty of money, on the runway and what she's doing. That's that. Matter of fact, Tom might be the one that's not making as much money as she is.
For real. And on top of that, his outlook is different. He's looking to set records that'll never be broken. He's not trying to get to his first one. So he can take less money because he at this point he's like Jordan. He probably makes more money in endorsements than he ever will on the football field.
Absolutely. 100%.
So his outlook is a little bit different, but it still doesn't mean that you're gonna get the results that you want to get.
Right.
So
because basically what they're doing, they're using your investment, your money, right?
Absolutely.
And we're gonna take a gamble on that. That's what we're gonna do, right? So no, I agree with you 100%. And shouldn't be upset with guys. And I said this, Patrick, I don't know where he fit into this whole equation.
Mm-hmm.
I think, some people they like to do is give a lot more credit to these quarterbacks, and everybody else is saying like, oh, well, he has a say in these things. When it comes to business, hey, listen, this is what we're going to do. So I just want you to know, you could kind of talk to him and see where he'll take this deal, but we're not going up any further. And
exactly. They can talk all of that shit about Aaron Rodgers and how aloof he was, but at the end of the day, he knew where his bread was buttered, so he's right back in there.
Yes, right. Right
back in Green Bay, because he knew he wasn't the chances of you having that success somewhere else. We don't know what Russell Wilson's going to do in Denver.
Right.
So he was in the best situation for him. And don't, all the other stuff that gets thrown into it, where the rubber meets the road, he knows where the best situation was for him to win. And he stayed there.
Yeah.
So
I would say that he probably even tried to generate some of the, controversy. So everybody's like, no, don't leave. Like, we need this guy. We got to, who else we going to use? We're going to use Jordan Love. Like, is this our answer? Right.
Wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah.
Nothing is off the table, man. Nothing's off the table. But all right, dude, I just wanted to holler at you for about 15, 20 minutes, man. This was crazy, dude. This was crazy.
Oh man. I hope he's happy. I hope he's happy down in Miami, right? These contracts and whatnot.
Man, that joker gonna have all the fish tacos he can eat.
And here, he's already got a Super Bowl ring, right?
Yep.
So he's been to another one. Miami's an up and coming team. We know this. So, we'll see how these things, man, how they work out.
And now he got $72 million guaranteed.
72.
Golly, that's a whole lot of hamburgers.
A whole lot.
Lord. All right, bro. Thanks for jumping on real quick, man. We're going to have to do this again.
Yes, sir. You already know, brother.
Every time something's popped up, man, we're going to have to reach out and connect and do our thing, man. So appreciate you coming on, bro. And I will holler at you later. Give everybody your podcast.
Okay, podcast is Chiefs Concerns. We're on YouTube, all the other platforms, Apple, Spotify, and all this. So you just come find us, Chief Concerns, and you can, like I said, you can look for us on YouTube as well. So we have the videos, so we do a little bit of both. So
that's what's up. That's what's up. And you can find me on my Facebook fan page, the Pro Fan Perspective on Facebook, Pro Fan Perspective. So check it out. Join in. I want to see people in the chat. I'm trying to get all of these Facebook sports groups to join in the chat. We need to see your and listen to your opinion, because we go back and forth. We'll talk. We'll conversate. This ain't a one-sided conversation. It takes two people to talk. So
that's right.
So join the chat, get active, and let's make it happen, man. So appreciate you, Jason, and I will holler at you later.
Sure, my brother. I love you. We'll see you,
man. Peace.
All right.
That was Jason Dunn last night. Like I said, I immediately called Jason. He's got the KC perspective on lock, and just that situation because nobody expected the number. You would think that a team would protect the number one weapon in the league, and it wasn't like because I asked I don't know if you guys heard. I asked Jason, was there any type of behind the scenes animosity and all of that kind of stuff, and he didn't think so. I never heard anything. Crazy things have happened, but this was a business deal. This was a straight up business deal. And it's not like he's really going to a bad situation. Now, if you want to compare Tua and Mahomes, that is no contest. No contest. But Tua's not horrible. And Tua actually got better as the year, towards the end of the year. So, who knows? Who knows? And you talking about, it ain't like you got to throw deep to Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill is a 5-yard out, a 5-yard slant that can go 80 yards. He's that type of player. So it's been all kind of stuff. The chat has been live. My fam Barry, Brady's wife has more money than him. Absolutely. Rodgers seemed selfish. Rodgers was weird this year. He got on his whole, after his whole thing where he got called out for his shit about the getting vaccinated and I'm inoculated and all that kind of stuff. He made that whole thing much more complicated than it had to be. All he had to say was he wasn't vaccinated. He didn't feel like he wanted to be vaccinated for whatever reason and keep it moving. But the problem was he didn't want to follow the rules and was trying to make it like he was a victim or something. Like, just like, stop it. And he looked foolish. So, but guess what? Karma is a bitch because his two main weapons are gone. He's gonna have to play above and beyond now. Not that he didn't before, but your top two receivers are gone. So I'm not gonna argue with you, Darren. You might be right. Rose, what's going on, Rose? Rose from Exchange Trade House in the building. So what's up, Brian? And Matt, everybody's talking about Derek Barnett because we just found out that the Eagles re-signed Derek Barnett. Here's my thoughts on that. Okay. I don't think Derek Barnett is a bad player. Not at all. I think he has brain farts that cost us in some critical situations. Having said that, so did a lot of other people. It, for whatever reason, it did seem like it was always Derek Barnett. Now, did he get the most penalties on the team or something like that? I don't know. But it seemed like when it happened and it was him, it got a little bit more attention. Now, it's because he had that reputation and, the fandom just went with it. Media just went with it. I'm not sure because, not for nothing, Derek Barnett makes some plays too. No, he's not Pro Bowl level and all of that kind of stuff, but he's not a scrub. I don't care what anybody says. He might be middle of the pack, but guess what? Middle of the pack is better than the bottom half. So I thought that somebody would have scooped him up. Apparently not. So Howie signed him. We started off good with the Hassan Reddick signing, and it's just like we running backwards ever since. So a lot of people not crazy about Fletcher Cox. Not a lot of people definitely not crazy about the Derek Barnett re-signing. But, I mean, it is what it is. They part of the line. And there's something to be said, whether you like them or not. There is something to be said for your offensive or defensive or wide receiver core. There's something to be said for that group to stay together. So whether you like Barnett or not, Barnett, that whole line with Fletch, Brandon Graham's coming back, and Brandon Graham is the captain and the heart and soul of this team and that defense, bar none. So hopefully he can come back and be somewhat close to what he used to be because he was still a playmaker. So I'm not crazy about it, but it's not like I'm not mad about it either. You know what I mean? It's kind of a meh situation. You know, Howie started hot. And I said this last week, it is all going to come down to the draft picks. What is he going to do with the draft picks? I don't know. Matt, by the way, Derek can start. I don't mind Derek starting. Jalen Reagor, not so much. Derek, I don't mind him starting as long as he produces. Again, he's not a scrub. But if we got somebody better, well, I take that back because he's not going to start over Hassan Reddick. And he's not going to start on the other side. So we'll see. We'll have to see. Well, let me see. Barnett got flagged for unnecessary roughness while he was signing his contract. That's funny. That's funny. What's up, TK? I see you. What's going on, Greg? Greg Milikovich. Matt, yeah, he's a detriment to the team. Mistakes are one thing. Yeah, I mean, I can't, like I said before, is it that or he's became the guy for that. He's became the face of that in Philadelphia. Give you an example. I was not down on Nelson Aguilar like most people in Philly were. He did drop some balls, but I keep it real. When you look at the whole tape of Nelson Aguilar, he was a pretty good receiver for us. The problem was he dropped a few balls in key situations, and everybody took that and ran with it. You had the dude with the T-shirt and all of that kind of stuff, but I remember one of them games where he dropped the ball and he got booed, and then he ended up making some hellacious catches later on in that game, and nobody said anything. So, especially in this city and how our fan base is, we have a lot of times we want to put a face to something. Nelson Aguilar was the face. We had to get rid of him, and quiet as kept, Nelson Aguilar wasn't that bad. He's a hell of a lot better than Jalen Reagor. Derek Barnett is in that same boat. Every now and then, it's like he makes a play, and it's like begrudgingly, you got to give him, that was a good play. It's like, I hope he don't jump off sides again. So it's like tit for tat. Like, he makes a good play, and you already worried about what he's going to do wrong. And it didn't really help when they had that video footage of Sirianni, like, that guy again? Like, it's always that guy, whatever it was, like calling him out for it. So it'll be interesting to see what's going to happen. Greg says, absolutely agree with the poll. I think they should move up or down. They should stay one they stay where they're at, and the third they'll drop all the way down, add another one, add another first year. Okay. The poll question is the Eagles will trade at least one of their draft picks. That's my thoughts. I'm hoping they'll take all of them. I hope we get a chance to get that kid, that defensive line from Georgia, because it looks like the first. It's going to be offensive line heavy the first 10 picks. So there's a good chance that we get some players that might bounce our way, especially with all the shakeups now, because somebody's going to have to take a quarterback. Might be a couple teams taking quarterbacks that might push some players our way. I think next week I'm going to go over some mock drafts a little bit, and we can talk about that. But it's going to be some crazy stuff. John says, I am fine with the Barnett re-signing, but I still want to go defense heavy this April's draft. I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100%. If we use all three draft picks, I want either a defensive line and safety, or a defensive line and linebacker. We gotta get one of those three in the mix. Maybe you wanna throw in a wide receiver if one is available. If you can get one of those jokers that's going 6'3", that ran a 4.3 at the combine, I'll take one of those and put them outside. So now you got the Slim Reaper, you got Devontae Smith, you got the guy we just signed from the Colts, and then you got another speedy receiver on the outside. I will take that. I will take a guy that's I want another receiver where defenses have to make a choice. Defenses have to make a choice. You got to pick your poison. This guy, Devontae Smith's a good receiver. This guy on the outside, he's 6'3", 6'4", runs a 4.3, so he can take the top off. Always remember, Deshaun Jackson, D-Jax ran like a 4.35. And there's a couple of guys that ran 4.34s at 6'3". I want that guy. Because that's going to make Devontae Smith better. That's going to make the guy we just signed for the Colts, his name is, forget me, put his name in the chat. I forget the guy we just signed. It's going to make him better. It's going to make everything better. Because you got to respect it. Your safety has to come up and make a decision. And not for nothing, Devontae Smith can go deep on you. It ain't like he's slow. So we got some things we got to do. And Howie's on the hot seat. I don't give a damn about his 3-year extension. If he screws up this draft, they're gonna be coming for his head. The fan base anyway. Now we know like Lurie loves him, and let me be honest with you, I'm a fan of Howie. Because I think the X's and O's he does with the contracts and stuff like that, he always figures out a way to pull a rabbit out of a hat and make something happen. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All of this, the criticism that we have and all the problems and stuff that we've got with Howie right now, all of that stuff can be eliminated if we have a good draft. So we'll see what's going to happen. Chris says rumors that we're interested in Devontae Parker. I heard that too. We'll see what's going to happen because the way it's looking right now, we got any money to sign anybody? Who knows? Who knows? Matt said, thank you, Josh Sweat. Thank you. Josh Sweat should be starting opposite Hassan Reddick, the two best edge rushers we have. Mix in BG and Barnett. And somebody, what's the other guy? It's not Sweat. What's the other guy? There's another edge rusher, young edge rusher we got. We just signed him. I don't know. I gotta look. Let me see. Watch the Super Bowl season DVD. Aguilar made a big catch in almost every game that year. Yes, he did. And just because he made one bad, he had a couple bad drops, and some guy from Philly made a funny meme and made a T-shirt, made a little bit of money selling his T-shirts. The dude with that crazy, arched eyebrow face. And it was like, come on, man. So everybody wants to put a name to it. Quez Watkins will be the Eagles' deep threat. You know what? I don't know what happened with Quez Watkins because I thought Quez Watkins should have been starting. I thought he should have been starting. I don't know what is going on if something's going on. A coach is going to do what a coach wants to do. He's with the team every day, so they're going to see things that I don't see. But I thought Quez Watkins should have been in there starting, and I don't know why he wasn't. Hargrave is the name of the defensive line. Hargrave is who I was trying to think of. So I like Quez Watkins, and I want him to play. I want him to be a starter. Jalen Reagor should be backing up, or just make him a special teams guy. It's not like he doesn't have speed, but clearly they overreached when they drafted him. I'd be curious. Here's the question that we should be asking. Howie, and whatever scout he talked to when they made that pick, what did you see in his tape that made you make that pick? Or for whatever reason, did you panic? So that's what I want to know. So if you, whatever you saw in that pick, you didn't see it in DK and you didn't see it in all the other guys you whiffed on. So Vince Sirianni is a wide receiver coach, and yes, he can coach them up, but something that people always tend to forget, he's probably a really good wide receiver coach. However, your focus is different when you become a head coach. You cannot spend the same amount of time on a thing that you used to do. It's different. It's different. That's a situation where you really have to rely on your players to be able to pick up whatever it is you're trying to teach them. Some guys can do it. Some guys can't. Some guys can take what you teach and then take it to another level. Some guys, it takes a bit for them to figure out what you want. Let me see. This is funny. Anthony says, I think the Eagles could have an amazing draft as his daddy, Jeffrey Lurie, would not get involved in the draft and everything would be okay if Howie listens to the scouting team. Yeah, assuming the scouting department made some good picks. Don't get it twisted. Them scouts can miss on picks too. That's half the things. You'll have a scout that'll do his thing, and then you have other people that watch the same film and they come up with two different opinions. So I don't know. There's been plenty of people, owners, who have made the mistake of getting too involved in their team when it comes to drafting. You look at Jerry Jones, at least Jerry Jones was smart enough to step back and pass it to his kid, and it looks like his kid is either smart enough to let the people that they hire do the job, or he's got a good eye for talent. So I don't know. Would you be okay with going David Ojabo in the second round? He is injured, but we can be patient with him. His upside is to the roof. It doesn't sound like. Yep, I posted that this week. The Sidney Jones situation all over again, and it is something about the Achilles. Sometimes you just don't come back right. Sometimes you just don't come back right. So I know all of the doctors and everybody, he's still going to get drafted. I see him getting scooped up like between the late second and the fourth. Because what somebody's going to do is some team is going to take him, but the team's going to be, they're going to be okay at that position. So they're going to take him with the intent of giving him his time to rest and heal up, and he can be behind some veterans that can teach him what they need to teach him, which is really the best situation. He's going, he's not going to make the first round money that he should be making, but hey, that's the gamble you take every time you step on that field. Like I was talking with Jason, we one play away from the career being over, man. So what I minded, we need people that's going to help us now. We need people that's going to help us now. So I would not want to waste that pick on a project. That is a rehab project. Then he's got to get into the lineup, and then he's got to be productive. So there's three pieces to that. So we'll see what happens. Somebody's going to get him. Somebody's going to take the kid. It ain't like he can't play, and it's not like this is not the first time things like this have happened. So somebody will take him. But I would prefer the Eagles not do that. I need people that you can put in. I am hoping, because it's going to be so offensive line heavy, the first 10 to 15 picks, that we might be able to slip up and get Dean, that linebacker from Georgia. I'm hoping that will happen. I saw the workout, and now, like I said a couple weeks ago, there's always going to be a quarterback or somebody that has a ridiculous workout, and everybody's going to start going gaga over him. And what's the kid's name? Malik Willis. He threw that long bomb at his pro workout and hyping up the crowd and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, man, that was a pretty ball, but I'm not going to put any stock in what some kid's going to do against no defense and no pass rush. It looks good on paper. That's about it. Rarely do you see somebody in that situation unless it's a Hail Mary. If you got to throw a pass like that, that means you're trying to play for a chance to go to overtime or to not lose. So I don't want to see quarterbacks in that situation. And it's great that they can throw like that. But what can he do when he doesn't have to throw like that? When he needs to just set in the pocket, find the open receiver, and deliver the ball. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. I'm still seeing, a little talk about what Howie's going to do. Like, we are really going to draft another quarterback. And it's like, nah, I don't see that. I don't see that happening. But that's just people that really don't like Jalen Hurts. So Jalen Hurts has become so divisive in the city. Like, he's polarizing right now. And it's crazy. I think Jalen Hurts is in a good situation. I've been pumping this since I started this podcast. I expect Jalen Hurts to have a hellacious year this year. He's going to be greatly improved from last year. And it's going to be noticeable because for the only fact that this will be the first year in his career, collegiate or pro, that he is in the second year of the same offense. So, and I saw somebody put up, after I saw the Malik Willis tape, somebody showed Jalen Hurts pro day. And it was the same thing. He dropped back, he rolls out, and he throws the ball as far as he can. And in that tape, everybody did the same thing. You heard some oohs and ahs, and everybody's giving him the high five. And it looked phenomenal. It looked phenomenal. And not for nothing, Jalen Hurts has thrown some deep balls. People forget that he threw those 2 bombs early in the season. The only problem was our receivers didn't stay in bounds before they caught the ball. So that was, wasted effort. Plus, the long ball is overrated. Y'all hear me say that all the time. Long ball is overrated. We don't need somebody to throw the ball 60 yards. Most touchdowns are between, I would estimate, 15 and 30 yards downfield. That's it. And then once the running back or the wide receiver gets the ball in their hands, they make a play. If you go back and go look at the Amazon stat the stats that they keep now. They keep stats for everything. But those deep balls, not a lot of them. Not a lot of them. Everybody. The problem is every time there is a deep ball, it's on SportsCenter. It's on every highlight, the social media. It's everywhere. So, not that important in my opinion. It's good to have it every now and then because every now and then your receiver's going to beat that guy. But even when they do beat that guy, that's what? Maybe a 40-yard pass. Jalen Hurts can throw a 40-yard pass. He can throw a 50 or 60-yard pass. So, we'll see it. We'll see it. Looks like Nova's about to get started. So all you Nova fans, it's about to get real. It's about to get real. I didn't even have a chance to talk about basketball, man. This free agency stuff has just been taken over. It's been crazy. It's been crazy. So, and by the way, the Chiefs. Wait a minute. 3-year, $30 million deal with $18 million in the first 2 years and incentives to reach a maximum of $36 million. That is Marquez Valdes-Scantling's deal with the Chiefs. So that's less than what they were going to offer Tyreek. But I would guess that those incentives are probably very reachable. So he's going to be making $9 million the first 2 years and 22, no, 12 the last year, the third year of his contract. So that's a good deal. It's a damn good deal, man. Get paid. I ain't mad. Long-term contracts have more guaranteed money. Yes, they do. And that's what it's about. That's what it's about. And people got to understand, everybody that's talking that noise about the quarterback should take less money so the team can sign more people. That sounds good on paper, but when it's your money, you think a little bit different. Especially if you are coming into a contract year, or even if you make it that far into a contract year. Most people want to renegotiate their contract the year before the final year of their contract. And a lot of teams don't want to do that. And we need to get into, maybe that'll be a great show, get into some of the gangster and behind the back devious things that these teams do to save money. $1 billion industry, $1 billion corporation, $1 billion company is nickel and diming you because they don't want to pay you an extra $250,000 for an incentive that you could easily reach. You can look. There's plenty of some people. Some people surmise that's the whole situation where Antonio Brown walked off and he went nuts. Teams do that kind of crap all the time. Your incentive might be, you play 70% of the plays and you got a $250,000 bonus, and all you got to do is play a half in the final game of the season. And then they come to you, that last game is like, yeah, we're going to sit you because we want to see what some of these young guys can do. Stuff like that happens all the time. All the time. So I don't buy into players having to give up their salary for the betterment of the team, because most times the team is not going to reciprocate. So it's a lot of stuff, man. It's a lot of stuff. Lots of stuff. And it just keeps going. And I'm thinking now, like, maybe we can breathe from this free agency, but it'll probably be something else coming. Because it has been nonstop. This, without question, in my lifetime, from what I can remember, I've never, ever seen a free agency off season like this. Never. I've never seen it. I've never seen it. So, yeah, Derry, you underperform and you're done. They will cut you, or that's what I was saying, they want to renegotiate the contract. Or goes back to, like I was saying with Jason, when you get, when he was telling the story when they try to lowball. When they try to lowball you, all that is they're looking at the market value and they're going to give the lowest offer to see what you can take. I understand that's just business, but they're going to try to compare you with somebody with the same stats as you on some team making less money. And they're going to say, okay, this is the level that you're at. Never mind the intangibles. The media likes to bring up intangibles when it benefits them. Teams don't want to talk about intangibles when that means they got to pay you money. Then they don't care about that stuff. They don't care that you're a leader in the locker room and all of that kind of stuff. They don't care about it. And you look at like when Trot left. Trot should have never left. When we traded Brian Dawkins should have never went to Denver. Brian Dawkins should have stayed, should have started and retired at Philadelphia Eagle, point period in the paragraph. There's some people, that's why I'm glad they're doing what they're doing with BG. That's why I think a little bit of that has something to do with the situation with Fletcher Cox. Fletcher Cox is arguably, Fletcher Cox is one of the best defensive linemen we've had since Reggie. So there's a little bit of he started here, let's have him in here, because the situations where we didn't do that, you look back on it and we probably should have. We probably should have kept Malcolm Jenkins if we could have. We never should have let Dawkins go somewhere else and then sign him to a one-day contract so he can retire as an Eagle. You shouldn't even have to go through all of that. Zach Ertz was a little bit different because we had somebody, but I would put him in the same category. The problem is he still had a lot of gas in the tank, and he proved that down in Arizona. But we had somebody that was better or younger, so they had to make a decision. I'm not mad at that decision either because Zach Ertz was a baller, but so was Goddard. But all of these people that we've got signed, all of the pressures on Jalen Hurts for him to become a better passer, become a more accurate passer, and do a better job reading defense. Jalen Hurts can read defenses, but Jalen Hurts reads defenses like he was coached to read defenses. He isn't at that level yet where you can think on your feet. And I don't mean that as a dig on Hurts. I mean that as he hasn't progressed to that yet. That's one of those things where all young quarterbacks struggle with that. You don't see it like you saw it in college. It's different. It's just different. That 100 yards is the same in high school. That 100 yards is the same in college. And the 100 yards is the same in the pros. But what the teams do in between those lines is totally different. It is the equivalent of when you're in high school and you learn arithmetic. Then you step up one level. Next thing you know, you learn a calculus. That's the jump it is. Because they're doing so many things. And me and my buddy Vince, we were talking about this. Make no mistake. Jalen Hurts has seen that video when we played Tampa Bay. And that guy on Tampa Bay's defense, they got him on tape saying he can't read. He can't read the defense. We can do anything. He can't read the defense. Best believe Jalen Hurts has seen that tape. Here's where intangibles come into play. Think about Ben Simmons. Think about anybody that bitches and moans when they don't get their way. Jalen Hurts is the type of guy, the type of player, has the type of character who will see that and will let you know he saw it. And is going to do what he's got to do to let you know that that's not going to happen again. That's the intangible stuff that we want to see from Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I know you said that, and I'm going to prove you wrong. And he has to. Because unfortunately, he's not going to get a 3-year audition to be the starter on this team. He's in year 2 as a starter. Most people get 3 or 4 years. So we'll see what's going to happen. But again, and I'm saying all that to say, I expect, because I'm on team Jalen Hurts, I expect him to have a much better year. I don't know if he's going to light it up. I expect him to throw for at least 500 plus more yards than he did last year. Just from seeing the field better, I hope that Nick Sirianni puts him under center more because I think he can benefit from that. And I'm hoping Sirianni's going to open up his offense. And for goodness sakes, please get us a screen game. Man. We got to get a screen game. We got Boston Scott, unless you're going to get some other 5'5", 5'6" running back that can run a 4.3 that we can use him like Darren Sproles. Darren Sproles is the prototype to run a screen game. There are people as quick and as fast as Darren Sproles or Tyreek Hill. You just got to find that guy with that speed, and that's one of those situations where you find that guy and you have him do one thing, and you do one thing well. It don't matter if the teams know what's going to happen when he steps on the field. Stop it. So I hope Sirianni puts our wide receivers in motion a lot more. Like there's some things that we got to do, and there's some things that Nick Sirianni has to do to grow as a coach. So we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. So, but all right, I'm about to get out of here because I'm gonna turn on the Nova game like everybody else. Thanks for joining me. The NFL is the gift that keeps on giving. Don't forget to smash the like button. If you know anybody that wanted to watch the show, get on the show. Check out the YouTube link. It is available immediately after it airs, so they can watch it. And still, if you watch it late after the fact, still smash that like button, and we get credit for those views. So keep doing that. And definitely, please check me out in my Facebook sports group, the Pro Fan Perspective. It is growing, and I appreciate it. Bring people my way. I love to get into conversations. If you have a group, let me know, and I will contribute. I am looking to talk to people all across the league, not just Philadelphia. I'm going all across. I know there were some KC fans on the chat tonight. I got Raider fans watching. So we're trying to do it all across the country. So we're going to make it happen. But let's go Nova. And I will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining me. And hopefully we're going to have another good show next week. So take care. Peace.